conquered Lagos, the British had their eyes set on the north of Lagos and down to the east, and this was how they conquered Ijebuland into Abeokuta, and how they eventually overran the entire Yoruba land. Let's read from page 123 of the book, What Britain Did to Nigeria, chapter 9, talking about the Southwest invasion. The Ijebu kingdom was situated in what is now the Yoruba area of southwest Nigeria. The Ijebu king was known as the Awujale. His capital, Ijebu, is now in modern-day Ogun State, just north of Lagos. Ijebu became a British priority because of the passage of trade through it was crucial for Lagos to generate revenue. Lagos earned customs due from goods that were transported from the area to its east, west, and north. This economic dependency placed Ijebu immediately to the north of Lagos in this line of sight of British colonial authorities. Ijebu was an obstacle between Lagos and access to the interior. Around this time too, France began to show an interest in the areas to Ijebu's north. In May 1891, the acting governor of Lagos, Captain George Denton, visited Ijebu on a mission to secure for British businesses the right to enter Ijebu and trade freely. However, the Ijebu leaders rejected Denton's demand, declined the gifts Denton brought for them, and refused to grant them permission to pass through their territory on their way to Abeokuta. Consequently, the colonial office demanded an apology from Ijebu for the way they had treated Denton and insisted they enter a treaty to grant British businesses access to their land. The acting Inspector General of Police in Lagos gave the Awujale a 30-day deadline with an implied threat of using force if he refused to comply with the ultimatum. The Ijebu delegation arrived for negotiation in Lagos in January 1892. After they apologized for the way they treated Denton, the new governor of Lagos, Gilbert Thomas Carter, told them that their practice of requiring goods to be sold in their market at prices set by them was unacceptable. He also warned that although the British Queen did not wish to take over their territory, she would do so if they did not open it for trade with the British. During the meeting, Carter presented them with a written agreement in English requiring free trade and British passage through their land. When the Ijebus protested that they could not read or understand English, British officials brought Ijebu residents of Lagos to sign the agreement on their behalf. It is doubtful that an agreement entered into in such circumstances was valid or legally enforceable. However, it generated acrimony only 1 month after it was signed. Young Ijebus objected to the agreement and allegedly blocked a Wesleyan minister, Reverend Williams, from passing through Ijebuland. In February 1892, Britain claimed that Ijebu had breached the agreement they had signed and had also again blocked trade. In March 1892, the British Secretary of State for the Colonies, Lord Northford, had authorized a military invasion of Ijebuland. The invasion force mobilized in May 1892 under the command of Colonel Francis Scott. It consisted of 50 soldiers, including 17 British officers, men from the West India Regiment, the Hausa Constabulary from Lagos, Hausas from Gold Coast, and a contingent of Ibadan warriors who acted as scouts. The Ijebus are near, we have smelt them. The decisive encounter took place 19 May 1892. In order to invoke supernatural intervention against the invasion force, the Ijebu placed charms along the road taken by the invasion force and allegedly sacrificed a man, woman, and some animals. As the British forces marched towards Ijebu, the Ibadan contingent stopped suddenly, began drumming, and put on their war charms. Captain Bowa ordered them to continue advancing, but the Ibadan contingent leader, Toyin, replied, "The Ijebus are near, we have smelt them." After marching less than 20 more paces, the force came to a bend in the road where the Ijebus opened fire. The British claimed that the Ijebus deployed between 6,000 and 10,000 warriors. After 3 hours of fighting, the Ijebu retreated and crossed the river. The Hausa constabulary was ordered to pursue them, but they hesitated because of the rumor that the Ijebus had crossed the river. The West India Regiment was instead ordered to cross, after which the Hausa gained the confidence to follow them. The British forces pursued the Ijebu while firing Maxim gun and rockets, which set the surrounding forest ablaze and killed about 1,000 Ijebu warriors. Late in the afternoon, the British troops found a white flag planted beside the path to Ijebu. Despite the signal of surrender, Scots feared that it might be a trap and remained vigilant, expecting more resistance. Instead, the Awujale sent 6 emissaries to meet the British forces the next morning with a flag of truce. Scott sent 2 of them back to the Awujale with a demand that the capital Ijebu surrendered and kept the remainder as hostages. The British forces continued advancing, and at 11:30 a.m. they entered Ijebu. The town had been evacuated and was deserted except for the Awujale and a few elderly followers. The British forces took the Awujale into custody and placed him under house arrest. He was allowed out only once a day to take a stroll in the evening and was guarded while he did so. After some looting by the soldiers, Governor Carter arrived from Lagos to meet the Awujale, who claimed that his young men had fought against the British contrary to his wishes or orders. News of the destructive speed and ease of the British victory reverberated throughout the region. Tales of the ferocity of the British assaults discouraged further anti-British resistance in the area that is now Ijebuland in southwest Nigeria. Carter undertook a treaty-making tour of the area in 1893. He was accompanied by Hausa soldiers and a Maxim gun. In 1893, the area's kingdoms and rulers, including the Egbas, the Alaafin of Oyo, Ibadan, and Abeokuta, signed treaties in which they agreed to free trade with the British and which forbade them to conduct human sacrifices or cede any portion of their territory to a foreign country. Most of what is now Yorubaland, except for Ilorin, became a British protectorate attached to the colony of Lagos. In this way, Britain added large tracts of territory to the empire without firing a shot. The conquest also opened the door for missionaries to enter and proselytize in Yorubaland. The British advance, which had started in Lagos about 40 years earlier, had conquered Yorubaland. Its next destination was the neighboring kingdom of Benin to the east.